What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new up in this place, my name is Ntwanie Ngomane, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning back in and clicking on this video. I really appreciate you guys. Today's video, I really do not want to waste time with this one. It is a very interesting one that I have gotten this question quite a couple of times, and people are just like, Ntwanie, we want to know, can we negotiate our salaries as first year trainees or trainees anywhere in any year actually? So I've decided to let's sit down and let's talk about this. Okay, let's think about what goes on into negotiating a salary. What are you bringing to the table? Because I mean, if you're gonna negotiate a salary, you must be bringing something to the table, right? So what are you bringing to the table in that sense, and obviously what do you expect? What is sort of your expectation on it? So I'm gonna dive into some notes that I made for this video to talk me through it, right? The first thing is that we need to remember, guys, about negotiating salaries, and I don't want to burst your bubble just yet, but think about it. Okay, if you are a fresh graduate, fresh from university, you have all the theoretical knowledge in the world about that subject, about accounting or auditing or whatever, tax, finance, right? You have the freshest theoretical knowledge, but you are still a fresh graduate, right? That means, number one, you do not have any year of experience to your name in that field, right? Now, obviously, here I'm not talking about people who have prior years work experience or who have done auditing before or some sort of work experience. I'm talking about the most of us who come from university with no experience, fresh graduate, fresh from the box. Theoretical knowledge is all we have. That's what I'm talking about, right? So the first thing is, remember, you are a fresh graduate. You have no experience. So what exactly are you negotiating a salary based on, right? These people have no track record of your work. You have no references in that field. You don't have a reference that they can call to confirm that Ntwanie can actually audit. She's actually good at her work. Because at the end of the day, that's what negotiations are based on. They're based on what can you bring to the table, what are you bringing to the table, and then your company will say, well, okay, we see what you're bringing, but this is what we offering you to grow you in your career, to grow you as a person as well. And then your negotiations is based on that. But if you're a fresh graduate, really think about it, guys. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Because more often than not, you need the company more than they need you. Unfortunately, it is true, and I'm so sorry to burst your bubble. Which brings me to point number 2, guys. You need the company more than they need you. So if you feel that whatever amount of money that they're giving you or they're offering you as a trainee is not enough, always know that there's a bigger, larger pool of people who want to do training and people who wouldn't mind to be trained for that salary. Again, remember, you're not a permanent employee, right? As a trainee, you're on a contract basis, and your contract is 3 years normally. It can be 4, it can be 5, it can be however long, but the fact is you are not a permanent employee. You are on a contract, right? And there are so many people. Imagine across South Africa, there are so many people who want to do training. So it's more on, why should the company choose you out of the million other people that are there? Not necessarily, why should I work for this company type of vibe. Okay, so yeah, let's maybe keep in our boxes and know our cards before we put them out there. Point number 3 is that the salary package for trainees is determined by the market, right? So I know SACA doesn't really go into how much you should pay trainees and try to regulate that for audit firms. No, audit firms do that themselves. So there's a market for trainees in the audit firm. So the audit firms will have sort of like a salary range to say first year trainees will start at this much, second year trainees will be here, and third year trainees will be here, right? So it's regulated like that. Obviously, some firms will pay higher, a little bit higher than others, and some firms will generally be lower. I haven't seen an instance where two firms are exactly the same in terms of salaries, either for first year, second, or third year trainees. They normally like range on a certain average, but some will be higher and some will be lower. So if it is money that you want and it is money that you want to go in this thing for, maybe do your research and find out which company pays the most. But be careful, just because a company pays the most doesn't mean you will walk out of that company after 3 or 4 years a sane human being, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so let me get back to the salary, because now I am diverting. On the salary, it is based on the market average, so generally more or less first year trainees in firm A and B will get this much and this much, and yeah, it'll generally be like on a year group. So first year trainees will get an average of this much, second year trainees that much, third years that much. Obviously it will range more or less the same with each firm, with some paying a bit higher and some paying a bit lower. Fourth point is that annual salary. So if you really want to get into negotiating, normally what happens at audit firms and annual increases is that the annual increase will also be relative and will also be market based, right? So if audit firm A gives their trainees a salary increase of say 10%, audit firm B might give 11%, and then C maybe 9%, and then D maybe 9, 10.5 something. It will normally be on the same range and on the same level. But remember, because some firms pay higher than others, obviously the percentage increase will then cause the annual salary to be higher still, right? So even the increases are really relative, they're really market based, guys. There's really no negotiation that goes into that. We don't come in and say, yeah, I've worked for a year now, I have a year's experience. Guys, a year in audit is nothing, okay? You don't really know. You still don't know what's happening. You still don't know what you're doing. You also still just trying to figure out what the hell auditing is. So you still don't have much of a basis to negotiate. In my opinion, I don't know of an audit firm where trainees actually negotiate their salary and their salary increases. However, my fifth point is that you can get a performance bonus, and this is one of the things that audit firms are known for, and we really appreciate them for that. If audit firms you're watching, we really appreciate you for this. They do have what they call performance bonuses. So what happens with performance bonuses is, obviously as a trainee you get tracked, right? Your work gets tracked through competencies that you get, and obviously engagement reviews that you do with your audit managers. So they review you and they say, Ntwana actually doesn't really meet our expectation for this job. We don't think she worked hard enough. We don't think she actually deserves a raise. We don't think she deserves a bonus, and so yeah, your engagement managers actually do review you and they recommend whether or not you should get a bonus. So have good relations with your managers and also perform very well in your work, okay? So based on that performance review, we call it calibration at our firm. I don't know what other firms call it. So during this meeting, it's your managers will sit around a table and they will pull up your name, and every manager you've ever worked for will have something to say about you. And that's something that they say about you contributes on whether you get a raise. It contributes on whether you get a bonus, right? So that's why I keep saying, I keep stressing, guys, that it's important to have good relations, and it's also important to do your work to the greatest amount of quality that you can do, okay? It's very important. So during that meeting, they will talk and say, Ntwana is actually a good trainee. She does her work. She does her work on time. She can manage the team. She can talk to the client. She is great at communication, time management, problem solving. The quality of her work is out of this world, and they're like, okay, Ntwana will get a raise and she will get a performance bonus. So in that way, it's not really a negotiation, but it's something you can then work towards getting. But in terms of your annual package that you get, excluding your bonus, that is normally not negotiable. I'm sorry to burst your bubbles, but yeah, it's normally not negotiable because at the end of the day, guys, we are just trainees. I think we need this training more than the firms need us. Yes, the firms also need trainees, obviously, to come in and do the audits and do all of that, but we also need them more because this is a stepping stone to our careers, and they're giving us a platform to actually enhance our careers, to learn the skills that we need to learn the competencies that we need to get for sign off with SAICA, right? So yeah, it's highly unlikely, unfortunately, that you'll be able to negotiate the salary because it is market related. Your increases will be market related. Bonuses though are relative. Every company or every audit firm will sort of have its own bonus. I know there are audit firms that pays much higher bonuses than others, or maybe used to pay. Before the COVID thing, we know that there were certain firms where you'd get a signing bonus. So a signing bonus is you coming fresh out of university and you sign a contract with a firm. They would literally just give you 10,000 rand for signing. Guys, how awesome was that? But that was way back during our time. I don't know if it still happens now, but I know there are certain audit firms that used to do that. So yeah, you could get yourself a little bit of something to start you off, but I don't know if that is still happening. You can find out if you are signed with a certain audit firm. You can pop them an email and ask them if they do have signing bonuses. Basically, a signing bonus is if you come and you start working for the first year in their firm, then they give you a signing bonus, right? So that is my take on negotiating a salary as a first year. To be honest, we have no grounds, guys. We literally just are still students who are looking for training and who are looking to grow. There's a quote that is always in my mind that in the first few years of your working career, focus on learning, focus on absorbing knowledge. Yes, it's about the money. Yes, you still need to pay the bills, but if you can perfect your skill, if you can perfect your craft, then you won't struggle to get the money that you need. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think for me it's about the learning. The money is also always a factor because I cannot work for free. Don't get me wrong, I cannot give up my time for free, okay? But I still appreciate that it is a learning journey, it is a learning curve. That's why they call it training. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment down below and tell me if you ever thought that you can negotiate your salary as a trainee, or maybe you know somebody who has. Remember, I was speaking for the big four. So yeah, see you guys in my next one. Bye.